What is going on, boys and girls? My name's Hunter Suchland with LS Lures, and welcome back to another episode of Cast to Catch. Today's color we're dropping, the Big Gizzard. For those of you who haven't seen this series on our channel yet, basically what we normally do is we get in the shop, we pour them, we paint them, we tie them, we do all the stuff and things. We show you guys how they're made, and then we jump on the water briefly, catch a couple fish on them, post them to our website, sell limited quantity, all the good stuff and things. In today's video, we're going to try something just a little bit different. We're not going to get in the shop at all, okay? I feel like that section of the video drags a little bit. It looks like a lot of people skip through it. It's not that exciting. We play some music, we do some B-roll, all the good stuff and things. So today, instead, we're just going to do everything on the water. We're going to really break down how to fish this jig. It's a little bit unique, but it catches some absolute studs. It's awesome, and I know it's going to sell out really quick once again here. The Big Gizzard jig is a great big old swim jig. It's 5/8 of an ounce. It's got just a little bit more skirt material than our normal jigs because it is so big, and it's got a 6/0 skipjack hook. What this is made to mimic is all of those big gizzards that are pushing the bank right now, boys. A lot of guys right now on YouTube are telling you got to key in on the fish that are chasing the small bait. You know, everybody's talking about spinner baits and buzz baits and tiny crankbaits and little swim baits and all the great stuff and things. And that's fine if you want to catch the smaller fish. But in lakes where there's bigger gizzards, you know, in that 6 to 12 inch range, they're up on the bank too, and there's a whole group of fish that is solely targeting them right now. So if you guys want to target those fish, if you want to catch bigger fish this fall, when they've got the feed bags on, when they're dumb, when they're really targeting that bigger baits, this is the jig for you, and it has been putting in some absolute work. I got out earlier this week. I had a blast with it. This thing flat out catches fish, okay? It's a little bit darker jig. We've got some close-ups that we filmed that we're going to be running through this whole entire thing here, but it's got a lot of chrome in it. It's got a lot of silver. It's got some darker colors too. We put some black, we put some purple. It does a great job of mimicking those big gizzard shad, and we're going to show you today how it works, how we fish it, how we catch a lot of fish on it, and absolutely go to town with it there. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. We have a limited quantity of these on the website right now, so that is linked below there, guys. They're going to sell fast. They always do. Every single jig that we've launched so far is going to sell, or has sold out in the first day, with the exception of last week's because I miscounted and I had a dozen extra. So if you guys are seeing this, I think they're still on there. So be sure to check out last week's little finesse jigs too. We're jumping up a little bit bigger this week. We've got this awesome swim jig for sale, and we cannot wait to show you guys how to use it here. Now, if you guys haven't seen our stuff before and you don't want to miss any of it after watching this video there, we've also got the link to our newsletter below. We send 2 emails a week. We send one Wednesday morning basically announcing we run a sale every single week. We announce that sale Wednesday morning. We talk about it Tuesday night in our Tackle Talk Tuesday videos. So every Wednesday we send you guys a link to our video that we watched that we made the night before. We send you the sale that we're running that week. It runs Wednesday to Friday night, so you're never going to miss a single sale. And we also send an email every Saturday morning letting you guys know exactly what our limited drop is. So never miss out on anything again. Never miss if we post a YouTube video. The link down to our newsletter is also below there. But we're going to go ahead and get into the nitty gritty of this jig, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get after them. Now, I know there's probably a couple of you boys who are looking at me like I'm an absolute crazy person. You know, this is a big swim jig. It's 5/8 of an ounce. It's got a 6/0 hook in it. That hook is angled up just a little bit, so it absolutely drives it through their brain. But it's kind of a funky looking jig. It's a little bit intimidating. It's a little bit big. You would be amazed at the size of fish that actually target this. You know, last time I was out, I caught a bunch of fish, 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds on it, all the way up to 4+ pounders. This thing is awesome, and when those fish are really keyed on that bigger profile, they have no issues absolutely T-boning this thing. But you cannot run traditional trailers on it, okay? It's 5/8 of an ounce, so you can cast it super far, you can skip it really far under docks, and it's pretty quick moving around that cover. So in order to slow that rate of fall a little bit there's 2 trailers I recommend you guys use. I'll be running this one today. This is a Strike King Magnum Rage Menace Scrub, okay? It's the full size, it's the big boy, all right? And I don't bite it down, I don't do anything, I won't be messing with it whatsoever today. I'm gonna put that whole sucker on the back there. This water's a little bit dirty, so I'm running their pearl color, their white color, and it is going to sit right on the back there, okay? They're busting on shad right behind the camera right now, but it's a big meaty profile. I'm going to be fishing this thing shallow all day. I'm going to be pitching up around shallow grass, wood, rocks, laydowns, all the good stuff and things, banging into them, ripping it out of that grass, and absolutely ripping their faces off with the hook sets there. Now, If I was in a little bit more open water, if I was casting a grass flat, if I wanted to just burn water and cover it, or didn't want to shake my arm a whole lot there, another great option is some kind of 5-inch swim bait there. This is just a standard boot tail. If you want to slow roll it around or fish a little bit deeper, this is a great option. I fished with it earlier this week with the boot tail. I've done both. I've caught fish on both of them. I really like both of them for their own unique purposes there. But a 5-inch boot tail, something maybe a little bit bigger if you want, put on the back of this, bite that head off so it sits flat against the back, is another really awesome option there. It's got a really wide kick. It's kind of like a jacked up mag draft. It's obviously not a mag draft, but it's got the same profile there. We're trying to mimic those big shad, and this is another great option. But like I said, today, boys, we're going to be throwing that Magnum Menace Grub around, all the shallow cover. This thing does not have a super stout brush guard on it, so I would not pitch and flip this into the heaviest wood, swimming around it, bang it into it, roll it over the top. But it's going to be good around rock, docks, grass, around wood, not in the wood there. And it's got such a big profile that it just draws those bigger bites. It draws those big fish in to come eat it. So be sure to check these out on the website below. We're going to talk about our setup now, and then we're going to get on the water. Now, like I said, boys, this is a big jig. It's 5/8 of an ounce. It's got a big profile on there. If you're going to be throwing this, I would throw it on I'm going to be running a 7.6 heavy today. I would run something between a 7.3 and a 7.6 heavy. You could run a medium heavy if you're going to run braid on it, and you'd be able to get away with it. But this is a big hook. It's got a thick diameter, and you really need to crack the whip on them there to drive that thing home and make sure you land these fish, especially when you're targeting big fish like we are with this thing. So 7.6 heavy, 7.3 heavy. You can run a medium heavy if you're running some kind of 30, 40, 50 pound braid on it there. We're running a 7.4 Shimano Corrado K on here. So it's gonna be able to pick up that line really well. And then we're running 20 pound fluorocarbon. So a lot of oomph to the setup, you know, but that's gonna enable us to really fish this thing appropriately, to turn those big fish's heads, and to capitalize on those big bites without worrying about, I didn't get a good hook in them, I didn't drive it all the way home, because the way that this hook is angled, it's at a slightly upward angle. So there's no risk of, oh, they just didn't get it good. If this thing goes in their mouth, it is going through their head as long as you set the hook right. So that's that. We're going to put you guys on a chesty. We're going to run the big camera off the back. This is the second time we filmed all this because I forgot to plug my microphone in the first time. So we're a little bit more polished now, but let's show you guys how to use this. Check them out on our website below. Make sure you like and subscribe, and let us know what you guys want to see next week. All right, we're still waiting on options. You guys need to send us some colors, some head designs, whatever you want to see. These limited drops have been amazing. You guys are buying the piss out of them, and I can't thank you enough. So let's jump on the water. Alrighty, boys. So for those of you who haven't got a good look at it, you didn't see the close-ups or whatever, this is our big gizzard color. It's got a lot of silvers, a lot of gray. It really mimics those big gizzard shad. They seem to get a lot darker. Once they get big, it's got some purples in there. And we are going to be running it with that big old honking Menace Grub trailer on there. But we're just going to be slow fishing this thing around on the bank. Up and around this grass. Up in the grass and the holes in the grass. And the biggest thing with it here, you can either straight roll it, reel it in on a straight retrieve, do whatever. I like to throw just a little bit of hop in there. Just a little bit of pop in the line. Keep shaking it the whole time, give it that Alabama shake. But this thing is not hard to cast. The biggest thing is just making sure you've got a setup that can absolutely handle it and drive that hook home there. So we are just going to go down these banks. Now, a lot of these banks to you guys might not look like very much. That's because they're not. It's what's off of them that is special. There's a lot of submergent vegetation, and the water's so dirty in here that it's kind of hard to see it. But they just roam these banks looking for those big gizzard shad. And if you guys look on live scope, or if I were to show you guys live scope, you'd see that there's just bait swimming everywhere on these banks. So this is a really good bait to break this down, fish around it effectively, and draw some of those bigger bites out. You know, I could go through here with a little spinner bait, and sure, I'd catch a couple decent ones, but if I really just want to target that bigger caliber of fish, this is a really great way to key in on them and really cater what I'm doing to those bigger than average fish. And you guys, I know some of you are probably thinking, man, 5/8 for a swim jig is heavy. It is, if it was a little one with a tiny trailer, but this thing is rocking such a big profile. You know, it's got more skirt material on it. I didn't trim it down at all. I don't want to trim it down at all. It's rocking such a big profile that it swims like a normal jig, okay? The fall rate is on par with, you know, a 3/8 or a half or something like that there. It's not this crazy overwhelming thing where you guys are going to be like, well, it's just too big. If you put a trailer that's too small on there that doesn't have enough drag, absolutely. Like, yeah, you're probably going to shoot that sucker down there. And if that's what you want, great. You know, the bigger the trailer you run on here, the slower it's going to go. The smaller the trailer, the faster. So it seems like that Magnum Meniscrub is kind of the right in between. The boot tail goes even slower. And then if I really wanted to burn this thing, I could put something a little bit tinier on there and it would still probably work. It would be fast. It would probably be too fast for what I'm doing today, which is just trying to slow roll it around the remaining cover. You know, the fall is here, the grass is dying off. So any piece of wood, any clump of grass that still looks semi-okay is gonna be your best friend. But this is gonna be a great way, boys, if you're in need of a kicker bite, or like I said, if you know they're keying in on those bigger than average fit, or those bigger than average gizzards, like just put your trolling motor on high, fish all that high percentage stuff. You know, it's not like those finesse jigs where you're gonna be like, oh, I gotta really be slow and thorough. Like, no, we're gonna make a couple casts at everything that looks like it might hold a bass and just turn and burn and cover water. You know, they move a lot in here, especially when they're chasing that bigger bait. So if we can just figure out where they're sitting, we'll catch them. Now, one thing with this is, you know I said that I like to quick twitch it, just give it some good shakes. You can straight retrieve it if you want. You can just cast it and reel it in. Do whatever you need to there. That works just fine. You can do little raises and lowerings of your rod tip there. I like to do that a little bit more around cover, just take it a little bit slower. It kind of makes that bait snake through the water. But my favorite is just getting around this stuff and shaking the piss out of it, especially in this dirtier water. I feel like if you really shake that thing, just helps them key in on it a little bit better. You know, clean water in it doesn't really matter quite as much. Maybe if you're really burning it, but like right now, just shaking it really lets them know where it's at. Oh my gosh, what a fish. He just shot over and freaking crushed it. I saw him wake on it. Well, that's what you want. Good night, he's not even that big. He sure acted like it. That is a dang good one. He wasn't coming off, but oops. That, like I said, boys, that is a big old honking swim jig. Like 2-pounder, so that's what we're after. God, I don't think he could have hit that any harder. Sitting right up there on that inflow. Good Lord. I got an awfully weird hook set on him because this dang camera's right here. I'm gonna have to figure that out. I just don't want to smoke my hand on it or pop my mic off or anything like that. So hoping we can stick a couple more. Wish I had more time today, but I got meetings tonight, special announcements to work on, and a giveaway to plan. We just hit 2,000 subs, so thank you to you guys. I just hope we catch a great big one. I wouldn't be super mad with a great big one. I don't think anybody would be super mad about a great big one. Oh my God, like that. Just didn't get it. Freaking grabbed at the tails. That was a giant. I am not on a good streak as of lately with big fish. I didn't even hook him. Oh, my rod just broke. It's fine, I didn't need that soft butt piece anyway. That was a giant. Sucker, that wasn't very big. That was a little one. I watched him swim off and grab at it. Well, we're getting bites. The other nice thing about this bait, guys, is, you know, a lot of guys fishing a swim jig, they only cover the top portion of the water. With this thing being a little bit heavier. Oh, yeah. That was a good one. Give me your face. Yeah, look how good he was freaking hooked. He wasn't coming off ever. Never, ever. Another decent one. Not a great big one, but a good one. Solid one. Now, as I was saying, before I was rudely interrupted, the nice thing about this jig is, you know, a lot of guys fishing a swim jig, they're only gonna cover that top portion of the water, you know, like right up on the shallow side of that bank. The nice part about this one is I can cover that shallow side, you know, by doing my quick twitches and then just kind of slowly let it fall down that drop. I caught a couple earlier this week doing that were pretty good ones, you know, just because they don't see a bait down there as much. At least not a swim jig down there as much. Most guys, you know, they twitch in the shallow zone and there they go. Goal for this video, I don't know what I said. 3, 4, 5. Somebody's shooting. A little inflow. The other one was sitting on a grass drop. Oh no, 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 no. Yeah, they just got the tails. This thing's got a really sick dual pin bait keeper on it too, so you won't have to worry about your trailers getting yoinked down a whole bunch, you know, especially, oh, I just got cracked. Especially when you're using a big swim bait or something like that. Why are they being so weird? Just eat it. They didn't have a problem eating this the other day, so I'm hoping they're just not being weird today. We've had some changing weather that's been kind of unfortunate. But, you know, it is what it is. We're out here. The point of this video is to show you guys how to fish it, where to fish it, which is pretty much everywhere, you know. When the big gizzards are up that shallow, it's a great junking bait, and just show that it does catch fish. Whether the fish want to completely cooperate today or not, it seems like it kind of depends on the mood of who you put it in front of. It seems like a lot of them are keying in on that back, which I don't know if that's because the water dirtied up a little bit or what, but we are going to be just fine regardless. You know, some places they're like, yeah, it's great. We have bass and bass boats everywhere and sweet tea and we can fish all year round. And here in Nebraska, we just have wind and corn and guns and cows. That's it. Oh my freaking gosh, man. They are just short striking the ever-living piss out of me today. And it is gonna drive me nuts. They're just pulling on that dang trailer. Alrighty, boys. We're about halfway through the video. I'm recording this in like the middle of the night. I think it's like 1 in the morning right now. I've been tying jigs for a while, thinking about what happened today. And there's a lot of fish that short struck today. Like plain and simple, it was just one of those days. I was more in the mentality of, since this video is a spotlight on the big Gizzard Swim Jig, I didn't want to catch him on anything else. But I just want to turn what happened today into something educational, you know, to make it a little bit better, instead of you guys just being like, what the hell's wrong with that swim jig? He didn't hook anything on it. They weren't getting the hook. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with the swim jig. I test all of these baits before I release them to you guys. I don't launch anything without going out and absolutely whacking on them and making sure that every aspect of these baits is perfect. You know, we've got a lot of baits on our website that sell great. They're always selling out. They're perfect. They're awesome. I love every single one of them. This series has been a blast because I can release a lot of really new cool things to you guys without putting them on the website. So you get to try different kinds of jigs, play around with some different types of stuff. You can always email me and order more if you want. I call them limited drops, but we can always do more, right? But with these, it gives you guys an opportunity to play around with different baits. And today's video was not the best example of absolutely waylaying them on this bait. I went out earlier this week and smashed them at the exact same lake. Since then, we've gotten rain, the water dirtied up, conditions are changing, things are weird, but most of the fish today, we caught 2 pretty decent ones on it. Most of the fish today were just grabbing the freaking dang tail on this. And I can tell you that because I watched some of them do it. A lot of them, I would, like one at the very end, I remember specifically, pitched out there, it ate it. I let it swim from 3 feet to the right, set the hook, pulled it straight out of his mouth. There was no, oh, I stung him, oh, I had him on, he came off, nothing like that. Earlier this week, every single one of them had this hook through their freaking skull. So for whatever reason, these fish had changed, something had shifted, only a couple of them committed, and instead of making adjustments, because today's video wasn't about adjustments, it was about how to throw this bait, catch a couple fish on it, talk to you guys about it. We're launching on our website on Saturday. Today's Saturday. This is when you're watching this, or whenever. But it just was to get you guys a good feel about this, how to throw it, walk through it all there. Really frustrating amount of fish that just didn't get it right. So instead of saying, oh, it's a weird day, oh, and giving you guys any kind of idea that it's the swim jig's fault, I'm going to tell you guys a couple of different adjustments if you are throwing, and this goes for any kind of bait, right? Like if I'm out there throwing a buzz bait and every single fish is blowing up right behind my buzz bait, I'm going to throw a popper, you know, because they're going to eat the popper because they don't want to commit and chase that buzz bait, all right? It's just the way that it works. There's adjustments you can make if they're doing certain things. So instead of blowing this off and saying, oh, it's just a weird day, if you guys are throwing this bait and they're not absolutely horking it like they should be, right? If you have a day like today where you catch a couple on it and then most of them are grabbing at the tail, there's 2 ways you can go. You can either do what I did and glue it in your hand and hope and pray, right? But if you want to catch all of those fish instead, there's a couple of things I could have done today to fix that problem. So instead of you guys just watching this video and being like, what the hell is wrong with that? We're going to tell you what we could have done had we not absolutely dedicated ourselves to just throwing this today. So first thing, if they're just eating that trailer, the first thing I could have probably done is I could have taken this trailer, it's a full-size Magnum Menace Grub there, and I could have bit it down to where my trailer, my tails, and where those tails, that hook comes up right between them. So now all of a sudden, there's nothing for them to grab to. Like if they're gonna grab those tails, they're gonna get the hook in their mouth. So that's the first thing, is I could have shortened up the skirt, could have made it a little bit more compact, and I could have taken this trailer and had the hook come up directly between those tails there. So all of a sudden, it might look a little janky, it might not be quite as big, but if they're short striking it and they're grabbing that back or they're keening on the white at the back of this bait, shorten it up, probably not going to miss as many there. Now, if they're still doing that, it's time to come up with another solution there. So the next option, if you're throwing a great big swim jig like this, or this goes for any bait, right? If they're not eating that, or if they're just keying in on one thing. So like, this is a very natural shad color, okay? It's got a little bit of black, a lot of grays, a lot of silvers, a little bit of purple and stuff. So in dirty water, like we were fishing today, I'm sure most of those fish were just seeing that white there. So if I was in a tournament, or if I was like just fun fishing, wanted to catch all of them and was tired of having, you know, 75% of them short strike this, take a different swim jig. This is one of our old limited edition bone swim jigs, okay? I would have switched to a color that is much more visible and much smaller, okay? This one compared to our big gizzard is a much smaller profile. I would have trimmed this skirt way up. I would have made it way more compact and made that whole jig visible. So now when that fish comes up, instead of just seeing that bright white on the back like they might have been seeing today, now the entire thing's bright white, or whatever. Throw our albino rhino color, throw our chartreuse shad color, throw any of those. Throw contusion if you want, you know, something that's really dark in contrast. But the biggest thing is if they're just keying in on one specific color on your bait, switch to a bait that the entire bait is that color. Because if that's what they really want in their mouth, all of a sudden your entire profile is that color, the whole thing's gonna go in their mouth, okay? I would have made this a lot smaller, you know, trim on that brush guard, make that brush guard there substantially more compact, and then gone through and just trimmed on that skirt to where all of a sudden this is not so big anymore. This is a lot easier to manage. If they're gonna get it, they're gonna get that hook in their mouth. So that's step one, right? Another thing is if they were just feeling the vibration of these tails here and that's what they were keying in on, I could have picked up a bladed jig. This is a bad example color-wise because our pacifier color is typically a more clear water color, but I could have picked up like a football bladed jig or a pinhead bladed jig, and now that entire profile has a lot more vibration. It's a lot more for them to key in on. Switch to a brighter color once again, and you're probably going to catch a lot more fish, okay? I've got a smaller profile, I've got a lot more vibration, I've got a lot more for them to really hone in on, especially in that dirty water. So if you guys are watching this, you're gonna see a lot of swings and misses and me getting pissed off and being like, you know, what the hell is going on? Most of that was because I caught them so dang good on it earlier in this week, and I'll attach a couple clips of me catching some on it. Then, and not clips of me catching them, it's just clips of me with the jig in fish's mouth and stuff, because I was like, oh, this is cool, this thing's awesome, right? I'll go out later this week and smash on them. And that just wasn't the case today. We probably had 17 or 18 pounds worth of bites, and we caught 4.5 pounds, maybe 5, you know? So, I mean, it is what it is. You have those days, but the biggest reasoning for this little interruption here is to just help, like, to turn that into an educational moment so that the next time you guys are out, if you do get one of these and they're being weird and they're just not eating it, make it more compact, switch to something more compact, or throw something that's a hook, or throw something that's got a lot more vibration and is a lot brighter there. So I hope that helps. We'll get back into it there so you guys can watch me swing and miss and jump around and get pissed off and whatnot there. But this jig is awesome. When they are super keyed in, they can see well and they want that bigger profile. This thing is great. I love everything about this, and I'm gonna keep making these because they're awesome and they're gonna be great around big gizzard eaters, docks, rock, around wood, not in wood, and grass. I mean, this thing is awesome. So we're gonna keep making these. You guys can expect to see these in a couple different colors. Right now, we just want to go with that big gizzard profile, but thank you so much for watching. We'll get back into it. We just want to clarify that, turn into a learning moment for any of you who have ever had one of those days where you're like, I just can't figure out why they won't eat my damn bait, you know. Make the adjustments you need to, because you're never gonna win anything. You're never gonna have an absolutely amazing day when every single fish that bites you doesn't get the hook if you don't make adjustments. So that's that. I'm gonna get back to tying jigs and try and go to bed before 4 a.m. and we're gonna get back into it. We're gonna rotate back through a couple of these little spots that Jeez, that about broke a camera lens. Oh, that was a little one. Just grabbing that damn tail. Well guys, that is all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like I said, we've got a limited quantity of these bad little dudes on the website right now. Link below, so make sure you check those out. Grab one before they're gone because I guarantee they're gonna sell out within a day again. Every other single jig that we've dropped has. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Let me know what you want to see next time. Fishing was kind of weird today. I don't know if it was the weather, the cold front, the rain, whatever it was. They just really wanted to grab that trailer, that big white tail on the back of there. I wish we could have really made the adjustments that we needed to catch those fish, you know, throwing a pinhead bladed jig, downsizing, doing whatever there, throwing a different color. But being that the focus of this video is this jig, weren't able to make those adjustments. Next time we'll be able to come out here and absolutely crack the ever-living piss out of them. But this is still a badass little jig. We caught the heck out of them here earlier this week on it. We caught some here today, and we will see you guys next time on Cast to Catch.